Hello and welcome to the 89th episode of Rambling Weekly. How you doing? I'm doing good. Been super busy with stuff, and I'm just kind of trying to balance all that stuff, like we all do. Yeah, I had 6 days of work, even though most of the work days weren't excessive. But when you work 6 out of 7 days, even if they're not always heavy, it can just kind of take it out of you a little bit, especially as you get old in age. But that I have actually, I was kind of surprised at myself, but I blitzed through and have recorded the footage for the next 2 chapters for the next part for the genealogy of the Holy War. So I'm excited about that. So I didn't think I would get through that quickly, but I was on a tear, and I like that game. So it is nice that when you get into something like that and you're like, I do enjoy this game. Yeesh. So it was good. I'm looking forward to getting into the back half of this, because there's some stuff that goes into it that even after part 3, and if you haven't checked any of those out, check them out. There's 3 parts so far, but there's more to come. It's just in very different light, and I appreciate that. Anything else been going on? Let's see. I don't know. That's kind of what as you can tell by the title, the state of me. I guess I should just go right into it. But birthday was about 10 days ago. So I am slowly creeping up there in age, like we all do. And I just kind of, I guess I wanted to take a moment to look at some things and just go out. It's sort of like an update, but I guess there's a little bit more reflectiveness into it as opposed to just saying, hey, this is what I'm going to be trying to do. Speaking of which, what are we going to be trying to do? A while back, I had made some attempts for goals for myself, and let's see here. I might be okay. There we go. Goals for myself: lose 10% of my weight, write 100 pages for Sage's Calling Part 2, have Part 4 for Genealogy series released, make 2 or 3 songs, read 2 to 4 books. So those were the goals I had for myself 2.5 months before my birthday, and I failed every single one of those. I pretty much kept my current weight. I wrote about 25 pages, somewhere around there. I got part 3 done, but part 3 didn't get released until after my birthday, so I had 2 parts done. I had made a song, and I read a book, so I missed all of those goals. Part of that was laziness on my part. Part of that is just, there's a lot of things to try to do. You don't want to force something and be like, oh, here's that. That's why I think I put out that one song a week or 2 ago, Around the Corner, and then I had some ideas for some stuff, but I was like, nah, I feel like I'm just trying to rush it, so I didn't. I was just like, we'll come back to it. That, and I also was plucking a little bit at some Fama Tracker, because I feel like I need to go back. I don't know. There's just something I'm missing. Part of that's obviously an education, and perhaps also a little bit of talent when it comes to these things. But I feel like I keep on spinning into the same circles with stuff. So it's like, let's jump back to Fama Tracker and perhaps push more into not chords. What am I thinking? More into the melody of things, and really try to figure that out a bit better. So, as for the books, I read the one, and it seems like since reading the one, about being efficient and all that, highly effective, all that sort of stuff. I've regressed. I did get a few new books. One in particular I'm looking into reading, probably the next one, is What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains, The Shallows by Nicholas Carr. So, that's one on the docket. And I'm gonna grab some other books, so time out. Alright, time back in. The other two books that I've kind of got waiting in the wings, one probably will be a quick, enjoyable read, is the As You Wish, Inconceivable Tales from the Making of the Princess Bride, Carrie Yules with Joe Layden, forward by Rob Reiner. So, it would be neat. Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies. I love that film. So, yeah. The other one is I randomly picked this up at a bookstore in town. I don't know the slightest bit about it. It is classified as World Noir, Europa International Mysteries and Crime, Maurizio de Giovanni, Nameless Serenade. And I was just like, oh, okay. That's something I like, but I don't ever really scratch enough of an itch of, is like mystery and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll give this a go. I haven't been able to get into that. I also picked up another copy of Thucydides because I couldn't find my copy. And I was actually going to use it as one of my quotes and stuff last recording or 2 recordings ago or something. And I'm like, where's my Thucydides? I can't find my Thucydides. Eventually I bought a better version, not necessarily a more complete version, that'd be a little screwy, but more of I don't know how to put it, just a fuller version, we'll say. It is I have it hiding over here, the Landmark Thucydides, A Comprehensive Guide to the Peloponnesian War, edited by Robert B. Strassler, introduction by Victor David Hansen. So, but it's a hefty book, and I shouldn't lose it, because that happened, and then I got this book, and then I think 2 days later I found my old copy of Thucydides. So I was like, okay, sure, great, whatever. So, yep, it'd be good to kind of read through it again, because it's been a hot minute, especially since we are rounding the bend to another year of political madness. Anyways, let's get into some of these other things. Like I had said earlier, I had failed on the part 4 of getting the genealogy series released by my birthday. However, I have recorded the footage. I just need to write up some stuff for it and really dive into that. I have been very hot and cold with it. So I kind of was trying to aim for, let's do it about every 4 weeks, if not a little bit sooner. But I don't know. For whatever reason, I was just trying to be really, really slow with it. I guess I didn't want to. Part of it. Step back. Part of it is that I don't have a ton of space on my hard drive, so I can only record up to so much footage. Because even though it's got that, I have to rig it up very, very jankily, because I have some sort of AV to HDMI thing, and I think that's what's producing that green bar in the things. It's a unique. It kind of gives it a nice little old time feel to it. So not necessarily intended, but it works. I I have been hot and cold with it, and I think because in recording that footage I only have so much space, on my hard drive, and I really can only get about 2 chapters. I could probably get away with doing 3, 4 if I'm just like picking and choosing what I record, but generally I've gotten a little bit more of, okay, we're just going to keep recording large chunks of it. I don't do all at once. I'll do like 10-minute segments or so, just so that I can title it, and then I can give it some titles, numerate it, so it's like, okay, this is here, so I can look through. It's a little bit more helpful for me than just having a giant thing of it, because I'm not gonna sit there and try to like write down or make a little notepad and be like click 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 click. Oh, that like 10 minutes and stuff. No. If I can just do that, it's a little bit easier for me. So, and it doesn't help that Fire Emblem isn't quite the eye catcher in terms of visuals with it. So it's like. So if I didn't do that, it would feel like everything was just bleeding all day. Heck, there's times where I'm clicking through and I'm like, oh no, it's on the other part, and it's on this other section and stuff like that. So I don't know, and it's I will say this here about that, because of the nature of the game. Like I'll have this 6-part thing. However, at some point, what I want to do is combine all of it together to make it one whole thing. However, because of the nature of the game and the story of it, there's going to be a secondary third part, or a secondary back half, we'll say. Just because there's a lot of different choices you can make, and in making those choices, or not making those choices, it doesn't necessarily change too much. So what it would probably end up being is there'll be like a secret 7th part sort of thing there, but even then it might, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of flip-flopping through whether or not to make it just like a long part where it's just the back half of it, because it's not like too much is changing, but there is some differences, some neat differences that I like, but there are some differences that if you don't whatever. Well, there are some differences, so there may be a secret part 7, the alternative route. The end. So, but it's really nice. I'm looking forward to it. And then I think I'm actually finally going to get into. I might actually finally do the Taylor Talks for Final Fantasy 1. I've been dabbling a little bit with it at night, because I downloaded it onto my 3DS eons ago. Every now and again I would just kind of play it a little bit and stuff, but I think it is time to finally talk about the game that has plagued me with playing games since I was a wee lad. I might pivot to no. If it's not Final Fantasy 1, I'll hold off Final Fantasy 9 for another time. If it's not Final Fantasy 1, I couldn't tell you. So I think I've got it in place, and that's been my problem with doing either any of the Taylor Talks or just YouTube videos or anything like that. Is I don't necessarily have a plan. Like I just kind of do the thing, right? So it's. For better and for worse, I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. Yeah, I bring it up. Let's see. Let's look at some of this old content for Taylor. Playlists. Where is? We can go. We'll dive into the Taylor Talks, because that's what I am now. So, let's see here. So, first one of these was Secret of Mana. And then I did a little bit on the mini collection and stuff, and then had Greg on for talking about Nayata no Kiseki. And then finally doing the third. And then after getting those few, and it took a few years to get through those few, I had a nice string where I was like, okay, we'll get into some of these ones. A lot of it, especially when it comes to the game stuff, it's sort of like, oh, I've never played that, I want to play it, and then just kind of tell somebody about it, or talk about it. So I never played Blue Sphere, and so I was like, oh, I'll talk about Blue Sphere and get into that. Defenders of Oasis, I was like, oh, give that a go. Cosmic Star Heroine, I thought it was pretty neat. Whatever. Wild Arms XF, just these games. I was just like, oh, well, let's get into it. Let's randomly talk about some of these things. And it's not necessarily because it bounces, right? So you've got a lot of RPGs, but then it's intermingled with what could be like almost like topics for Rambling Weekly and stuff, with like difficulty and appreciation. Some ideas for Final Fantasy Star. I'm an idiot. I can't even read. Phantasy Star 5. Wouldn't that have been swell? But, and kind of skew into things like Slipstream or Lost in Shadow or, Clash Force, like Eastward. I still love that game. Intermingled with a lot of indie stuff in there as well. Sometimes skewing into non-RPG stuff like Eschaton or Doom 64, Fire and Ice, Unmetal, Shadow of the Ninja. It's just, I don't know. It is kind of one of those things that's like, the mood hits me. Let's get into it. And finally, with this one, I wanted it with Genealogy. I mean, I could have done it with Mystery of the Emblem to a degree. It's that one. I think you could probably break up into maybe 3 parts or something. I don't know. There's just so much going on with Genealogy that if you've played the Radiant series or duology with Ike and company, that very similar. A lot is going on. A lot of craziness is going on. So I felt like it really would be nice to get into, especially because as much as I haven't really been keen on a lot of the newer ones, they did do a really good job with remaking Gaiden. So perhaps they'll be on their best behavior when remake Genealogy. We'll see. I mean, don't know how that'll go, but we'll see. So, but yeah, that's where things are at with that. I have a couple of episodes with Sushi. I've been holding on for a while. I've got 4 of them, it looks like. But I'll start to trickle those out a little bit. I've just been holding on to them. We've got some stuff going on, so it's been hard to connect and get in touch with one another, either because he's swamped with things or I'm swamped with things. So yeah, that lay on. Boop, 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 boop. Oops, there we go. So yeah, the weight thing, I don't know. I've been in the last handful of years, it has been an up and down thing, and then I got really sick, and then it is decided to stay as an up thing as opposed to a down thing. So I need to apply myself a bit better with that. I did end up actually buying. I have a weighted jump rope, but I bought a speed jump rope just to kind of do a little bit more endurance that way. And get back into it is kind of an important / key thing, which I haven't been doing. I was hoping that because my job is a little bit more active than just than some people's. It's not hyperly active, but it's not sedentary. So it's a bit of hot and cold, but I don't know. I've been working on different angles of eating. So for a while there, and I noticed that I wouldn't really lose weight. I'd just kind of stay consistent. Is that, I'd go all day without eating until I got home and then eat, but it wouldn't be like I would be shoveling food down my face or anything like that. I'd just eat a healthy portion, maybe a little too healthy, and then that would be it. But it doesn't seem to really work, so I've been trying to eat something not light per se, but something a bit just solid for breakfast, and then when I have dinner or something a little less, so because I won't have that as much of the hunger pangs. At least that's the theory I'm going to be trying to go with. So as for Sage's Calling Part 2, I have it right here, and I am on page 24. So I'm 24 pages into it. It took me a moment to really, I wanted to dive right back into it, and I started to, but nothing was really coming through because I didn't exactly know where I wanted to start it. And I was like, and then for a short minute, I had something, but then I was like, I'm really not liking how this is unfolding, and so it dawned on me, idiot, just do it a little bit later, okay, and so that's been working for me, and it's because the first book was its own thing, and then the second one that I wrote, part 1 is a very understood when I was writing it. Like I know what's going with the story and everything. I just decided to break it up into 2 because if not, it would end up being a lot. So I was like, okay, we'll break it up into 2, so it's not like a 900-page book or something like that, because it might be a little tough for people to really be interested in, or not. There's some people who are like, yes. You see the same thing with games. I think that's waned a bit to some degree, where it's like, yes, the game story, Dragon Quest VII, it has over 100 hours of story, blah 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 blah, and you're like, oh yes, and then you play, like, oh no, this is taking forever. I've become very appreciative of that. Let's kind of tighten the screws a little bit, and let's go. There's, grinding for the sake of grinding is not good. I could do without it. So that's a big culprit for why I don't necessarily hate Three Houses, but that first Switch Fire Emblem game, but it's like that having the Academy and everything bogged it all down, and I was just like, this is so much. And I get it, you don't have to do that, but then it's like, well, if I don't do that, then you're missing on this stuff, and it's just like, and I mean, I get it, like, it is with how older Fire Emblems have been, it was able to work a little bit with Ike's duology, but those other ones in particular, there's not a lot of character development. The character development is on the battlefield, to where you're either like, no, this one's riding the bench for the rest of the game. I don't care. And then once you've decided that, then they are pretty much doomed to obscurity. That are, you've got a character who just starts popping off, and you're like, yes. Funny thing though is because of how growth rates are, you do that again, and you play a game again, and that character that popped off might not pop off as much that second time through. Or then maybe they pop off every third time, or maybe they pop off 5 out of 7 times. It is. That's one of the nice things in creating a replayability, as long as you don't just skew into, oh well, we're just gonna do this. We're only gonna have this and this. It makes it hard when you have certain like obnoxious battles with units that are like, what's that? Oh, Camus in Mystery of the Emblem, or Shadow Dragon. That the Shadow Dragon there. What is his name? Why can't I think of his name? What is Camus' name? Oh, it is. Okay, then what did he go by in? I forgot what he went by then in something else. Oh, Zeke or Jeek. Yeah. Okay. And serious. All right. Okay. He's kind of like your. He's stupidly hard to fight in that Shadow Dragon game. It's not impossible, but he's beefed out, and it's just like, ugh. I don't know. It's certainly something. You're just like, okay, all right, thank you, no thank you, please stop. This is bad. This is troublesome. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Gracious. But I mean, Kaga's always had this really bad habit, and it starts to become a pattern very well noticed, going from Thracia, Tearing, Berwick, and the Vestaria. I think that's what it's not Vestaria, is it? Yeah, Vestaria Saga. Is that it's like, oh, it's there, it's fun. You have the neat characters and stuff, but then it's like, oh, hey, you didn't have a thief character because they died, or you didn't recruit them. Well, you've lost out on all this stuff here, and get bent. It's annoying because I get it to some extent. Like you try to do the get the good ending and stuff for Mystery of the Emblem, and you've got to play through book 1, which is Shadow Dragon, paring down a couple of chapters and stuff. You gotta get all through that, and I think nobody dies. You can't have anybody die throughout the whole game. Through both books 1 and 2, Mystery of the Emblem and stuff. But not only that, I think in book 1, I think it's in Shadow Dragon, you have to collect the shards. You have to be able to get these shards so that you can damage the baddie with starlight magic. And you don't do that, you ain't getting through it, kind of thing there. Kind of a problem. It is a bit of an issue there. I don't like that. That's like the one thing I really am not too keen on. It's like, well, you can only, I can get it. If you don't do that, you could have the problem of, and not really a problem, but you can have everybody just completely OP and just bum rush stuff. So it's like, well, in order to make the boss really tough, we're gonna do this. Or you could do the thing like they did in the first Ike game and just have a super duper boss go into berserk mode on hard mode, and he can move around. That's always lovely as he's butchering all the units. Anyway, I like it, but yeah, he it gets really bad in Vestaria. I haven't played through them, but I was reading some comments that people are like, yeah, this is Kaka doing his thing. It's like, hey, here you go. I mean, you see elements of it in Genealogy, and you see a lot of it in Thrakia. Thrakia's like, oh, hey, by the way, totally forgot to make everything heinous and obnoxious. Enjoy. And some of us do. But anyways, yeah, back to part 2. Getting through that. It's slowly coming about. Yeah, I'm kind of having this bit of a stutter go, and part of that's on me. Actually, all of that's on me. All of that's on me, and then part of it is just other obligations cropping up and stuff. It's one of those things that writing is not very conducive to any sort of social life. So, these are the choices we make. But yeah, that is that. I don't think I've got anything else. I had a couple topic ideas, but for whatever reason, I was just like, I don't want to do it. I was reading through them. I was like, I don't have enough brain capacity at right this moment. Maybe that's because I keep on waiting last minute to do these things. But I did work yesterday, and then I got completely wrapped up into playing through chapter 7 and stuff for Fire Emblem. So, but anyways, that's all I got. I don't have a quote because I am bad. I don't have a quote. I don't have a quote. Really, yeah, you're really swell. You're really neat. The quote. Okay. Like I said, my brain's a little goopy right now, so I am going to leave it at that, and I'll surprise you with the outro because I don't even have a song picked out. Like I said, this was just kind of last minute. So, hope all is well, and enjoy your day, weekday, weeknight, and everything in between. And I'll catch you next time.